Welcome, everyone. I'm Mirakita Solis, the live stream host of all-creatures.org. All-creatures.org was founded in 1998 by Pastor Frank Hoffman and his first wife, Mary, and launched as the pioneer website in the United States for faith-based animal rights veganism. Today, led by our executive director, Tams Nicholson, we exist for all people seeking current animal rights and vegan resources. We offer decades of free animal rights and vegan content, including a huge repository of vegan sermons and Bible commentaries, animal rights strategies, free vegan authored books, recipes, upcoming events around the world, and the works of various vegan authors, poets, and artists. We host current sites for almost 20 vegan and animal rights organizations, including Stop Crush, Unparalleled Suffering, and the Committee to Abolish Sports Hunting. We also maintain nearly 25 archival sites from animal rights, vegan activism of past decades. The bottom line is that we work to unite compassionate and empathetic humans across the globe, from the past and present, who honor the dignity of each and every creature so that all beings thrive on a flourishing planet Earth. So, I'm very excited to welcome Carl Porten as our guest today. Carl is an inspiring poet, freelance writer, and author. He is based in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, and being vegan, he has been a part of many famous animal rights, vegan earth and oceans conservation groups like Sea Shepherd and Allied campaigns. Having an open-ended approach to spirituality through respecting all life forms is what makes his poems so unique. His writings span many decades. Carl has developed a unique insight that illuminates through his books that speak for all of us. His abstract way of writing, while describing his experiences, extracts emotions that can move your heart as if they were your very own, evoking an array of feelings as his words connect your soul to reflections rarely seen. So I'm very excited to welcome you today, Carl. I mean, your heart is so big, and
Thank you.
I just want to get into this conversation. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you
Well,
so
um, I'm very honored to speak with you because I know that everything you do is from your heart, and you're a gift because it's rare to meet people that are so heart driven and really are so compassionate. Um, and and you're like a diamond, right? You stand out, Carl. And that's what's so beautiful about you.
I
So,
thank you so much for such kind words there. I think at first, though, I might have been that lump of coal until I finally learned that I needed to push and push and push and make that diamond that we find inside. It was not an easy thing to do, and today there when I go around, I just try to do the best that I can. I basically look through the other person's or other people, including the animals' eyes, to feel what they feel inside and how it would make us feel, just to get that connection. It's such a
right.
beautiful thing. I'll share with you a story, if I may, later about the one time that I broke the law, and I snuck into a slaughterhouse and sat vigil for one whole night, the night before the animals went into the slaughterhouse, which was probably my most emotional moment ever on this planet, to be honest with you. They are not just animals, they are people just like us. Just like us. I don't know what name we could give them that's different than us for the way that they feel, but for the way that they made me feel the night that I sat in with probably around 250 pigs as they waited there to go into the slaughterhouse right next door, and you could see, you could feel, you could hear. Oh, but was something that I felt I really needed to do at least once. And I wish that more people could have the opportunity to go in and spend time with these animals, just to let them know that there are people out there, because they do understand from the feelings. They really do. I remember one day writing a line that just circumvents the feeling that there is no language in love and in feeling, nowhere around the world. And everywhere that we go, even though we might speak different languages, or like animals we may not be able to understand at all, the feeling will always be there, and that language would always be there as long as we are open to the fact that we 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 have to open our hearts out to every single animal that's out there and offer the same dream, the same privilege, the same chance at life that we all have.
That's beautiful, and I can only imagine that was what an amazing experience to sit with all the pigs and really be with them and to show that they matter.
Oh, it was absolutely a life-changing experience. Even after being vegan for, at that time, a few years by then, I I had never felt anything like that. And I mean, I'd visited farms, I'd visited the sanctuaries, I'd visited the rescue places, and that night there just changed my life forever. I knew at that point there that I couldn't do anything else except for sit down and try and help the rest of the world to find that feeling. And not only for the animals' sake, but especially for our sake too. A lot of people unfortunately forget that in the animal kingdom, we are animals too. I know we're a lot different, but every animal is different. But we're not human in a difference than an animal. We are just human because that's what the animal is that we are. Just as they are cows, as they are pigs. And I can tell you that night there, I shared thoughts and emotive feelings between these animals there, and you wouldn't believe how such a huge animal, I mean, these animals were huge. As we all know today, they force feed these animals in these farms there to make as much money by producing as big an animal as they can, to get as many unfortunate sad meals out of them as they can. But when you have these huge animals coming towards you there, some of them must have been 250 pounds, and I didn't fear one bit that they were going to attack me. And they would come up and they would nuzzle on my face. They would, and I just even talking about it now is, oh, I'm so sorry.
No, it's beautiful. I mean, what a beautiful story. How can we not
Thank
feel,
you.
you know? Oh my goodness. Well, tell us about how you transitioned to veganism. What awoke you?
Do you know, my transition probably was one of the easiest transitions that anybody could possibly find or be gifted. I I actually had split up from my wife a few years before, and was now ready to start dating again. And when I went out, I was fortunate, and I met a beautiful lady there. I don't want to say her name because I haven't spoken to her yet. So, but it's a beautiful lady who's very well known in Sea Shepherd and through AV and so many other animal organizations around the world. Such an active person. But when I met her on the first day at the end of the date, she told me that she was vegan and basically explained what that meant, and gave me the option that if I was going to want to further a relation with her, that I would have to, for her sake there, transition if I could straight away there. So, and I was smitten. So it was no problem for me. I said to her, I remember the words exactly, I will go vegan. And if you want stairs to that star up there or the moon, you let me know and I will build them for you. And from that day on, I do remember actually a couple of funny scenarios at first. Within a few days of transitioning, we would go to places, similar restaurants and things like that, where I thought I was doing great ordering my food, but I would forget to stop the butter or the cheese or anything else there, and was just stopping the meat without giving any of those other things the thought that I was taught afterwards and learned afterwards. It's not just about this slice of meat that causes so many horrific lives for these animals. It's the milking that they go through year after year. It's the torture of having babies impregnated to them so that they can get that feeling that we get as human beings, that we're going to have a baby, we're going to have a baby, to just watch that baby come out and be taken away by a farmer. You know, I overlooked so much, but I tried so hard, and now, thankfully,
You're here.
yes, and everything that I do now, everything that I do, every single thought that comes into my head, for every footstep that I make, I think, what is this footstep going to do for me? But more importantly, what is it going to leave for the rest of the world?
Yes, that's beautiful.
I'll be gone soon, but the world will still be here.
Well, hopefully not too soon. Let's stay. Let's
No,
stick around for a
hopefully.
while. I want to thank, say hello to JJ and Angela Fischetti from Boomer and Beyond Wellness, and JJ from Vegan Knowledge. They're here watching, and let us know
Hello.
let us know if y'all have any questions, or because if you do, we'll get to those at the end. I wanted to ask you, Carl, when you first went vegan, what about families and friends? Did they support you?
Oh my goodness, no. No, they didn't. No, my whole family thought that I was pushing some kind of cult, unfortunately. So the best thing that I could do for my family was to, I didn't not speak about it because I couldn't, and only because I love my brothers, I love my father, who unfortunately has passed, and my mother, who unfortunately has passed now. But I love them with all of my heart. And I didn't think it was right for me to not mention to them at least once a day the difference for even themselves that it would make in their lives, for their own health, and maybe their longevity of their lives too. So I did make a promise to myself there that I wouldn't push it on my family members, but I did every day let them know that we need to do this. So it was very difficult with them. My friends, on the other hand, unfortunately, at that point there is when, after a short while, I found an understanding of compassion that was welcomed in a friendship there that I wasn't feeling welcomed in a lot of the friendships that I did have. So unfortunately, I did watch a lot of my friends walk away from me, but I just, I knew, as I know now, there, that again, my friends will be gone one day, and only in a few decades. I mean, I'm 50 now, so hopefully God gives me a good life there. But if he doesn't, you know what? He will send me back as an angel, and then there will be trouble.
I love it. All right. Well, did
But
any of the family or friends go vegan?
a few of them, yes, a few of them did stay behind, did follow me on my journey, and are still following and supporting me very, very, very strongly. Yeah, but more importantly to me afterwards was when I found out how many more people around the world that my writings were touching, as they were getting in touch with me from places all around the world that I'd never even heard of, and telling me about their vegan experiences and their reasons for going vegan as well, and especially when that veganism extends into humanitarianism. Because, like I say there, unfortunately, we need to remember there that the, the, the person we are is still an animal. And as much as the animals need our help, maybe the people need our help as much as well in understanding.
That's a very
So
good point.
that's what I try and do at the moment there, is just right. But I've said many a times, and I will never stop saying this neither, none of the words that I write are mine. Not a single word. I close my heart, my eyes, and I hear voices from everywhere, and they are not my voices. They are not. I mean, I hope that I'm not too bipolar, anyways. But I hear the voices from all around the world, from the people that I hear who write to me and tell me how hard it makes their existence in the places where they live just to live a vegan lifestyle. That tell me the fear that sometimes they face for the compassion that they show. And I feel those words so very much that it just comes to me, and I put down their words, and especially Mother Nature as well. I hear her all of the time, I think, anyways.
Well, I believe that you do, yes. And so it sounds like the piece of not eating creatures, it manifests in your life in many ways. Can you tell us specifically how it manifests?
Oh my goodness. I believe truly that the the meals that we eat, the clothing that we wear, the makeup that we have, and primarily so many other things that would take me so long to raffle off, that we consider needs and wants in our life, that we take other people's lives for, other animals' lives for, to make these consumables that we don't need, that we should not want, in all fairness, even if we felt that compassion in our hearts. And I'm a true believer that the the spirituality that is found within the animals there is 100-fold what we have, is a
Mm,
100-fold. And it's why, even, I mean, I'm a big ghost chaser too. I believe in ghosts, and I go out on the ghost hunts and things like that. And I truly believe, to be honest with you, that when you consume the animals there, a part of that spirit becomes you. And that spirit has been led to where it's going, even though now it might be in peace. It will never forget the journey that it took to get there, which was the forced life, the imprisoning, the beatings that a lot of these animals take, the jail cells, the laboratories that they are kept in. There's just so many things that leads up to the death that they have, that makes us people basically what we are. And I think it has an effect on our spirituality, our own circle, our own aura, which, without the animal within our system there, I truly believe that everybody would feel the compassion that everybody would need for everybody and everything, every living creature, to live in peace upon this planet. I truly believe that. If we got rid of hunting, if we got rid of farms, if we got rid of any kind of way that we enslave an animal, I think if all of that was gone, to be honest with you, it would reflect in no time at all, not only on our own health, but the health of the world. And I'm a firm believer that veganism, to be honest with you, is the beginning of every single conflict that's going on in this world today. And believe it or not, there's 57 active wars going on within the world today. But you ask people about them and they know Palestine and they know Russia, they know Ukraine, but that's about it. A lot of people don't realize there's 57 active wars going on in this world and so many people dying. And for me, if you take back straight to the beginning, I don't think in a vegan world, I truly don't believe that any person would be able to pick up a gun and shoot a brother.
Well, yes, I mean, because veganism is about loving others and loving animals, and we are human animals.
I truly do believe that. And that now is more so where my writing, my poetry, and my thoughts have gone to. There is, oh, I'm so sorry. I get so emotional sometimes.
Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry.
Oh, I'm just going to take a quick sip.
Sure, yes, because we want to hear about your poetry.
My morning coffee there. Yeah, so my poetry basically is led now to trying to find the words there that would help people realize that if we had a hard time killing a chicken, there is no way that we would be able to kill a man. And that's not my thought. That, I think, is a generalized thought. I mean, for my thought there is no difference between a chicken and a man. Not when it comes to just what we deserve out of life, to be born, to live unhindered, unbastardized, without fear, and be able to raise families, to feel nurturing, and die at our own will. At our own will, from old age or whatever it may be, but not from the hands of another. So that's where basically my poetry has gone now, is to try and prove the point that I think if we can come to a point where we can stop killing and using any animals, we could definitely close down and stop anything where we are killing or using any people at any kind of cost to themselves or to ourselves there, because I can only imagine it must be a horrid feeling to shoot somebody, let alone to be shot. I couldn't imagine in my life, and that's even from an ex-military man myself there. I was in the army for a little while, but was at the point when they asked me to go off to war there and do such things there that I couldn't do it. I knew that I couldn't do it, and I knew that if they sent me over there that I would be a hindrance to the people that wanted to do that. So I unfortunately had to quit the army and come out of that because of that reason. But that was many years before I became vegan too. So now I've just seen, as I've sat with so many animals there, that there's no difference between throwing your arms over the shoulder of a cow or your best friend. There's no difference at all, or a dog or a cat or any animal. I couldn't believe, to be honest with you, the excitement and love that I felt when I got my first hug from a turkey.
Wow.
I went to visit a friend of mine who has a sanctuary just outside of Vancouver here. And the first time I went there, and the goats came up and the donkeys were there, and then I saw this big turkey charging down towards me, and he opened his arms and he jumped up right to me there and all the way around me.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
And you wouldn't believe, though, that animals in the right surroundings would ever do such a thing. But only because of the amount of care, the amount of love and unequaled understanding and compassion that was given to those animals as well as the humans that came there, they saw that they belonged. They saw that, like a human, they were no different, just a different shape. So I think
Yeah.
that's where that came from. They saw the people coming up, giving a hug to my friends, giving a hug to a few of the volunteers, and then all of a sudden this big huge turkey. Oh, it was such a beautiful moment.
I
If you've
bet it
never had a
was.
turkey hug, go out and get a turkey hug.
Well, I need to definitely. Last year we went to one of the sanctuaries over here for the Thanksgiving, which was beautiful. So, and we got to, watch the turkeys have their dinner, and what a nice time that was.
Oh, that is beautiful. That's actually what this was there when I got my turkey hug. We were throwing Thanksgiving for the turkeys.
Hmm.
So we cooked and things like that and made a big potluck there for the turkeys. Of course, we had some as well.
Yeah,
But yeah, what an amazing time it was, though. Absolutely great.
that's
Yeah,
beautiful. Yes.
yeah.
So, Carl, what if someone was watching that was having a struggle? What would you say to them? A vegan that was struggling with sadness.
Go and visit an animal sanctuary. That honestly would be my first advice. And I got to be honest with you. I do a lot of work with mentally impaired people and physically impaired people too. But the mentally impaired people that I do a lot of work with, I've placed a lot of that kind of thing into their lives there, where we go now and we see the animals and things like that, and to see the change in these people that over the years I've seen now as I've got to know them more is amazing, especially when I consider and they consider and everybody around can see too the change that has been made within these people's lives, not from the medication, not from going and visiting a psychiatrist or sociologist, but from going and visiting some animals and feeling. And it, 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 it changes a person whether you want to change or you don't want to change. It changes a person. It truly does. It's kind of like placement therapy. I mean, if I was to wake up in a bad mood in the morning, for example, which unfortunately I don't allow myself to do, or fortunately, should I say, but the first thing that I would do was would be to think, well, what will make me happy today? And being so lucky as to live in such a beautiful place as Vancouver here, I'm only minutes away from some of the most spectacular scenery and beaches in the world. So that's the first thing that comes into my mind is go to the beach, listen to the water for a little while, go and stare out at the Rocky Mountains across the ocean. And I'm such a believer in placement therapy, and not only placement therapy, but animal therapy and things like that too. That I've just seen changes that I truly can't explain. I can't explain. I've watched schizophrenic people and bipolar people who, after a few years, and I say a few years like it's nothing, but I don't think time is relevant in these circumstances, to be honest with you, whatever time it takes. But to see when doctors have turned around and said they can't change, there's nothing we can do for them. But then to do small things like that with these people, and then you do see that change, that no longer are they the people walking down the street and then all of a sudden shouting at people that aren't there and being ridiculed by strangers as the crazy lady or whoever it is. They're not doing that kind of thing anymore. And I'm not saying that it's because of me or what I do or whatever it is, but I'm just saying I've noticed that with the changes that we have made together, myself and the people that I spend my days with, and it's uncanny. It's unbelievable to watch. It really is. It
That's
really is. And it gets me
Yeah.
into all kinds of trouble with the doctors, because then I go back to their doctors with them and I tell them, well, she's not doing this anymore. And they tell me, no, that's impossible. So then I go out and I videotape it for 8 hours. And I say, will you watch my video here for 8 hours where your patient doesn't do this? And they say, no, I don't have time for that.
Well, that is so beautiful. Expansive love. It seems like what they're receiving from the animals and from you, and a new way of thinking. I mean, this is beautiful.
Oh, it's not just from me. I mean, I need to go online every day and I need to speak to people every day. I have beautiful people all the way around the world. And thank you so much to each and every one of you for every day there, unwaveringly wishing me a good day, wishing me good morning, wishing me good evening, even at the times there. And I have to be honest, there are times when I can't go online. It just, the feeling that it gives me there, I've had to not go online for my own health at times, for 1 or 2 days, or even for a week sometimes, because of what I see on there and how it makes me feel. And even for those days that I don't send back my hellos and my good mornings, even if it takes me a week to get back to them, every single day they've been there. And that's why I'd like to say to every single one of you, thank you.
That's
So
beautiful.
much. I couldn't do it without them.
We all need each other. Yes, that's beautiful. Tell us about soul, well, www.soulpoetcarl.com.
Yeah, that was a website that was designed originally by the co-founder there, Sapana Ghosh. Her name is. She was from Calcutta, and is the lady that I was mentioning before there to you, whose mother had passed away. And after her seeing my posts, she wrote to me privately and asked me if I would be interested in trying to help one of her dreams come true, which was to write a poetry book that her mother had always wanted to do, but unfortunately taken away too soon. So she never got the opportunity. So I gladly accepted that, and I wrote my first book, which was called A Poet's Reverie, and in dedication to her mother, Pradakta. I hope I'm saying her name wrong, Pradakta Ghosh. Um, and since that day there until December 29th of last year, unfortunately, when God decided he needed her in heaven a little bit more than we needed her down here, and I know he did. So I'm just thankful that he's given her a good home. But up until that day, we'd spent about 5 years there, affianced, trying to save money so that we could finally get together. And it was going to be this year here when she was due to move over to Vancouver for good. But like I say, unfortunately, she was taken away too soon. So, but I'm not going to let her dream die, which is now my dream. And as I found out online, is the dream of so many people in this world, to just make this world a better place for everybody.
Yes, and we're all doing our part. We all have beautiful gifts to share, and it's wonderful that you have really tuned into your gift of poetry and writing. And that is, from your vulnerable heart. What a beautiful gift to share with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's painful sometimes, I have to be honest with you, as I'm writing these, because I obviously have the pictures in my head that gives the writing. I have the words in my head that gives the writing, and it's very painful at times there. But I think it's something that we have to look at. We have to look past a lot of the times there, is to reach the gratitude and to reach the point that you want to get to. Sometimes it's not always a sandy beach that we're walking across. Sometimes can be sharp rocks. But the thing is, we're going to make it to the other side there, and we're going to come back to that sandy beach that we're so comfortable walking on one day. And that's why I push through it so much. And I think anybody who knows my poetry there, which I will be the first to admit is a little hard for, I've even been told, poets to read, just because of the emotive stance that I post my and prose my poetry through. It's not your conventional poetry, not by a long way. It's normally in third or second party, where somebody else is, or I'm speaking for somebody else, either the cow or the pig or the chicken, even God himself sometimes. And I hope he likes what I say, um, and especially Mother Nature. Especially Mother Nature. So a lot of mine is, my poetry is written as though we were sat down ourselves there when you were listening to it, and kind of maybe even being scolded a little bit by these other people and these entities and these spirits. But I can only feel in my heart, though, as I watch these animals go through the torture, as I watch human beings being tortured, and I watch this world, unfortunately, ever declining at the moment, from greed, from haste, from lack of understanding and lack of compassion. I can only imagine that these animals and these people, if we could hear them physically, I could only imagine that that's what it would sound like. I can only imagine that there may be the odd cuss word within the language that they are speaking to us from. I can only imagine that some of the words that they would come up to describe the feeling that is given to them from somebody else's hands, in hopes that the people with those hands there can understand one day, and those hands then can turn from hateful hands and taking hands and greedy hands to compassionate and loving and caring and understanding hands.
Amen to
So,
that. Yes.
yes, amen to that. Thank you.
And tell us about your beautiful fiance who passed away. Tell us what she was like.
Oh my gosh, where to start? She was the most amazing lady I had ever met. At first, obviously, I was extremely overwhelmed by her getting in touch with me and asking me to do such a thing for her mother. Um, but then, more so, when she explained to me that for a few years now she had been on a medical assisted suicide program, and her first conversation was with excuse me, her first conversation was to let me know that through my work and through my writing, that she'd found a strength to go back to her doctors and call the medical assisted suicide off, and now she wanted to stay alive. And I just, I couldn't believe at that time that I'm going to use the word power, because I can't think of another word at the moment, but the power that I felt within myself at that time, the importance I felt of being myself at that time, to hear another person say that they no longer wanted to die, no matter how bad things were around them, because they'd been touched by my poetry and prose.
That's
And
beautiful.
after that, to be honest with you, there, I've had several other people in the last few years now, since posting about that, who have actually come online to me and messaged me, letting me know that they are doing the same as well.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I reach out to so many people, especially people in the Western world, who mostly are gifted the opportunities that almost a third of this world never, ever, ever will even see. Just to be born in such a place, in such a demographic. And this is why I try and reach out to them now, to let them know that an action from here can be felt so very far away. And sharing these with the people around the world that I do, and knowing the impact that my words have now, I just hope that God grants me another 400 years there to keep writing my poetry and putting it out there. And one day I hope, even if as after I leave, and this is actually a more exciting feeling for myself, that I hope that after my time here on earth is done, that all of my stuff is found, and like so many times in history, there becomes relevant, more relevant even than when the person was alive. For example, Kurt Cobain,
Oh,
you know, somebody like that, who, as an animal lover himself, as an activist himself, hardly made a penny before he died, but then afterwards, as we know, there became one of the most influential singers that the planet has ever seen. And as much as I would love to make the money to be able to help open up, you know, new watering holes over in Uganda, and supply blankets, supply food, supply dog food. Not only for humans, I help out, but I have a great couple of great friends in India who every day go out to the street dogs, and they rescue the dogs from the streets there that are on their last legs, because there's not even enough food on the streets for the animals. So just in doing all that I can to raise any amount of money, whether it's a little bit or a lot, I mean, what matters to me is 100% of it goes straight out to so many causes there. And what breaks my heart more than anything now is, after doing this for a short time, is when I have new people that come to me and say, Carl, can you help us? But I have to unfortunately say that I can only help with posts and sharing your dilemmas, your situations at the moment, because over the years I've collected so many people that I do send. And I'm not rich by any means. Some people I only send $10 a month. Some people is maybe a little bit more there, but all to organizations that, without individuals like myself just sending that $1 or $2, it would never make the millions of dollars that it finally reaches to be able to go and do the jobs that a lot of people need to do now, to help animal sanctuaries, to help our brothers and sisters, to aid us in our fight there going forward, to ban things like commercial hunting and any kind of hunting at all, to educate people on zoos, to let people know and educate them on the ocean and the wildlife in there. I mean, all of this takes so much money. It's unbelievable. I say to new people, ask me all the time, you know, how are you doing with your writing? And I say, oh, my writing is doing great. I just need the money now that I can put it out there and buy the billboard that I need to buy so that people know it's there. But it's so expensive. For example, I tried to do a deal with Amazon there, and for one of their cheapest promotions, just for one book, I was looking at $11,000 and over just to promote my book. And
that's
to date, there, from all three books, I haven't made close to that amount, but hopefully the same poems that are posted in my books, people have been able to see and read, and I've been able to share them through my social media and things like that. So that's what's really more important to me, is that people might have seen that. Because even if we can just help one person in this world in our lifetime, there, it's such an amazing feeling.
Well,
It
that's
really is.
you're right. It's very true. We all do our part. So, um, I'd love to hear about your fourth book.
Oh, that one I am working on at the moment. Um, and I am in collaboration actually. I don't even know if she knows about it yet, but I believe I can mention her name as Tammy Zules, who is a beautiful lady from the Blue Ridge Mountains down in Colorado, and has made me honored enough to call her a friend for many, many, many years now. I've watched her family grow up, and has been a huge vegan activist down in the States for a long time, as was her, or is, should I say, her husband and her daughters, and basically whole family. So they just had a baby too, who, just to show everybody, has been vegan since the day he was born and is healthy, 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 healthy. God bless. Just for all those people that are out there that say you can't survive without, you can't survive just with, you can, and it's possible. Um, but in collaboration with her, probably, well, I'm definitely moving down to the States for a short visit there, where we're going to do also a small clothing line of t-shirts and hoodies with just the odd verse of mine, powerful verse, and a powerful picture on the back of them, and in hopes to raise a little bit more money as well. And I don't have a title for my new book yet, but I have everything else done for it. So you know what, maybe I could take this opportunity, if I may, just to call out to a few of my friends and followers, if that would be okay.
Yeah,
Maybe what I would do is, to anybody that might be watching this, is Wednesday the 17th today. So if I say Wednesday the 25th, which is 1 week from now, I would love for anybody who watches this, or anybody who watches it afterwards there, maybe you guys have a title for my book. And I don't think I need to explain any more about what my book is about, what it entails, what's between those bindings. I believe everybody knows it's all about the compassion, the equality, the understanding and care we can give to this world. So, if I may, I'm going to ask my viewers if they would have a title, and then maybe next week there we can pick one out. What I will do is, whoever we pick out there, I'm going to let you pick out one of my posters as a prize, and I will send you a copy of one of my posters.
that sounds like a good deal. How
I hope it
exciting.
was okay to say that.
Oh, yes. I love it. I love it. Definitely. Well, I mean, we need a, I mean, when people offer suggestions, you never know what you're going to get, a collective mind.
Oh my gosh, is amazing. The collective mind is amazing. And again, I honestly believe that, and let me say before I finish that sentence though, I say what I say out of experience. So I honestly believe from my experience that if we could make a world that was vegan, there would be no more hatred, there would be no more misunderstanding, there would be no more anger, there would be no. Of course, we would feel these things because they are the emotions that we're born with, the gifts that God gives us. Even anger is a beautiful gift that God gives us, but depends on the way that you look at anger. Is anger a 7-foot tall monster roaming around, throwing flames out of his mouth and biting people's heads off? Or is anger a sad boy who's never been understood, sitting in a corner, alone, because he daren't ask for help anymore? He's scared to ask for help anymore. And that's why now he shuns and pushes straight away and says, angry, angry, stay away. You know, it's all in the way that we look at who these are. And for me, it's very easy because I see everything, even the table that I'm leaning on and chair that I'm sitting on, as a person with emotions. So it's not difficult for me at all when I look at things and think, oh, is this going to hurt? Because I'm not thinking, is it going to hurt me? I'm thinking, is it going to hurt the table? Is it going to hurt the chair? Just metaphorically, but really, is it going to hurt the animal? Is it going to hurt the next person? You know, similar the rhetoric that we use to say what we're going to say. And again, I know a lot of my poetry there at times seems anger. I'm very angry. I leave that in my poetry written down on paper so that I don't keep it here and I don't keep it here. It's like throwing a pebble out into the ocean, and once it's gone, it's gone. You're never going to find that pebble again. So once for me, I've thrown it to the ocean, written it down. I can only think then, like I say, emotion, compassion, love, caring, everybody. And it's written many times in all of my poetry too, how they are people, how they are actually people walking around, you know, and compassion said to kindness. You know, I did one or two there about time as well and how important time is, where the hands on the clock are talking to each other as they are passing each other. You know, and it's I think if we can come to seeing what we see, and not only what we see, but what we understand and what we feel, the same way that we would feel our own mother, our own father, our own brother, our own sister. I think then, to be honest with you, then the human race, it might understand these emotions a little bit better. Because in all fairness, as much as I love the education system and did really well through the education system there, I'm a huge believer of why there is nothing at all within the education system to garner and harness our spirituality. And it's only now I see, thankfully, in places like Holland, Switzerland, and a few other places over in Europe, where I've noticed their curriculum has changed to include these in their classrooms now, which, thank you, thank you. And we will be there soon, I hope, as Canada and America. And to place that back into our classrooms there, so that the people, I think it's easy to forget as we've been pushed mathematics and science and English and everything else, which is very important, I'll admit. But is it more important than the spirituality that we lose through the space that we then fill up with the different stuff? But we've pushed spirituality to one side there so much, and we've pushed our beliefs, our own, I think, what would the word be now? That's a pretty bad thing for a writer to say. Hey, what would that word be? But no, I think that's the thing that we need worldwide now, is to realize the importance of such lessons, as could be shown in an easy experiment there, as many vegans and kind-hearted people have used before. if you give a bunny rabbit to a baby and you
Mm.
give a bunny rabbit to a grown man, there's a big difference in what will happen to that bunny rabbit. And everybody knows that baby is going to hug, he's going to love. Unfortunately, the man is probably going to cook it for supper. And I think bringing spirituality, bringing our own inners, should I say, and our own spirituality to the foremost of importance in education, I think is what's going to make this world an absolute gem of a place to live in. And I'm sure that as we're mining for coal, we're going to only find diamonds. I'm sure of that. I am sure of that. I
Well,
hope
that's
so anyway.
yes, yes. All this is beautiful, and gosh, I see that we're coming up to the end of our time together. So I want everyone to know where they can get your books, Carl.
Oh, thank you. My books are available on Amazon.com and on the Amazon platform. They are available too through Chapters and Indigo bookstores, online as well, and a few other bookstores that at the moment, to be honest with you, I'm failing to remember. I'm sorry to the bookstores too, but there are about 12 of them. So but what I will do is I will put a post and maybe a comment in this one below too with a link to where my books can be found.
Okay, great. Well, this is wonderful. I feel very inspired with your big heart, your creativity, and your devotion to all animals.
Thank you, as I do with yours too, and for your devotion too. And I can only hope one day that I ever set up an organization similar to your own where I can reach so many people. Thank you so much for all of the hard work that you do, not only here, but all around the world, spreading that light. Thank you so much.
Well, we're working very hard, and I wanted to let people know that if you're watching us and on the replay, and um, let me get to the information that I'm trying to share. Don't forget to go to www.all-creatures.org to check out the hundreds of thousands of pages of free resources updated daily, 7 days a week without break, or sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Yeah.
And be sure to search vegan churches, right?
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. And can I add on to that?
yeah, go ahead.
Please do that, because it's such an informative and diverse web page as well that covers so much. Is unbelievable. Is honestly something on www.all-creatures.com, sorry, for
.org.
everybody. So please go on there and subscribe, and let's support everybody that's helping support this world and becoming a better place. Thank you so much. It's a
Yes,
beautiful thing.
yes, and if you have a vegan resource that's not on the list, please reach out to Tams, our executive director at Tams at all-creatures.org. And please make sure you go and check out Carl's books, and we're waiting for the next one, and also give your suggestion for the title.
I'm hoping to release it before Christmas, but it's again finances depending. So
All right. Well, we'll be
I hope
watching, and
so.
then let me show you what this is Angela Fischetti. She says, "This was beautiful. Lots of love to you all. I need to get going to my own event. Blessings and peace. May all beings everywhere be happy, healthy, and free. Thank you at all creatures." And
Thank
Carl.
you, Angela. Thank you so much. With hopes that you and yours and everybody in this world is well and safe today. And for everybody to know who isn't, we are out there and we will never stop fighting for you.
Thank you
Well,
so much, Carl. And thanks everybody for watching. What a blessing this has been. Thank you,
bless
everyone.
you. Thank you very much, Margarita. Thank you so much.
Bye bye, everybody.
Bye, and thank you to everybody.